Hello, in this video we will talk about the law of diminishing marginal product. So what is it? The law of diminishing marginal product states the increasing of a factor of production while keeping all the other factors constant will eventually cause lower and often negative yields. This happens because individual factor efficiency gets reduced. Let's explain this with an example. Let's say that McDonald's is deciding how many workers they should hire to grow potatoes on their plantation. The increasing factor of production in this case would be the quantity of workers hired. The constant factor would be the amount of land. For simplicity, let's assume that the workers are clones and their productivity is the same. McDonald's decides to start by hiring a singular worker. The worker in this field would have plenty of room to work efficiently and would produce a value of potatoes far greater than the cost of hiring the worker. Seeing how hiring this worker has produced more than he was paid and increased their profit, what if McDonald's incorrectly decides to hire 9 more workers? The more the merrier, right? With the higher number of workers on the field, each would have far less room than the lone worker, and would therefore work much more inefficiently. Though together they produce more potatoes overall, the amount of potatoes each worker produces does not justify the cost of hiring them. Since McDonald's wants to make a profit, they should hire fewer workers. Therefore, somewhere in between these extremes of too few and too many workers is the optimal amount of workers to hire to maximize profits. But how do we find this amount? How do businesses decide how many people to hire or how many products to sell? To figure this out, we need some data. The table shows the total costs and total potato revenue from hiring the different amounts of workers. From this data, we need to calculate the marginal cost and marginal revenue for each amount of workers. But first, what is marginal cost and marginal revenue? Marginal cost is calculated by dividing the change in cost by the change in quantity. This value represents the cost of hiring that worker. Marginal revenue is calculated by dividing the change in cost by the change in quantity. This value represents the total value hiring that worker provides. With this new knowledge, we can add to the table columns for marginal revenue and marginal cost. We now need to find the point of diminishing return, which occurs where the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. We can see this occurs at quantity 5. Past this point, marginal cost is greater than marginal revenue, meaning the worker produces less value than the amount they're paid. This means McDonald's should hire 5 workers to work their field to maximize profit. In this case, marginal revenue decreased with each worker hired, and we found the perfect point to balance cost and revenue. In this video, we talked about diminishing marginal returns. Thanks for watching.